Hello and welcome to our presentation. The title of our group project is the innovation of virtual reality and artificial intelligence in applications. Nowadays, virtual reality is not a strange word to us. It can be identified based on three properties: telepresence, interactivity, and immersion. Telepresence is the feeling of being physically somewhere other than the actual place. Interactivity is understood as the extent to which users can change the virtual environment when they use the VR system. The immersion means the user have cognitive immersivity of virtual world, but can still interact as in the real environment. The fourth property, when equipping with AI, is believed to bring the huge impacts on many application fields. We will discuss the VR and AI applications in three fields: retail, gaming, and surgical training in our presentation.
Because the United States is concerned about the adequacy of the training of general surgeons, they try to investigate a group of general surgery residents who believe that the residents should be capable of performing operation at the end of 5 years training. 121 of the 300 operations are considered A-level procedures by most project managers. US residents who graduated in 2005 performed only 18 of the 121 A procedures and performed more than 10 on average during the hospital stay. 83 out of 121 operations were performed on average less than 5, and 31 performed less than once. For 33 out of 121 surgeries, the mode experience was 0. In addition, there are significant differences in the surgical experience of resident physicians for specific operations. In almost all cases, the average experience reported exceed the mode, which indicates that the average is a poor measure of the typical experience. In VR training, doctor can perform a life-critical operation without any risk, which is very meaningful for those uncommon operations. Although artificial intelligence and machine learning have made technological advances, the provision of medical care is mainly achieved through direct interaction between doctor and patients. This situation is particularly suitable for surgical operation, because it will bring huge risk to patients and increase the cost of healthcare system. Therefore, the emerging field of surgical data science represent an effort to improve interventional healthcare by increasing data collection, quantification, and analysis. Researchers try to study the surgical factors selected by a series of machine learning algorithms to most accurately classify participants based on the level of expertise in virtual reality surgery. Using an advanced high-fidelity neurosurgery simulator, participants can perform complex open neurosurgery brain tumor resection tasks in a risk-free environment. In general, from the perspective of breakthroughs in the treatment mode and actual clinical use, VR medicine is still in its infancy. Through more and more experiments, innovators in this field will further verify the effectiveness of VR medicine. In the near future, the integration of virtual reality and artificial intelligence, big data, sensors, biofeedback, augmented reality, and other technologies will make VR medical treatment more interesting. Virtual reality is a new generation of human-computer interaction technology featuring immersive experience. In an immersive experience, the contact between people and the virtual world will trigger different events and content. And the manifestation of random content can also be defined as a neutral narrative. In traditional human-computer interaction media, such as mobile phone, this type of interaction is difficult to achieve because the user operations have been defined in advance. Natural narratives can only be realized in the VR environment because of the disorder. In other words, the VR world is the best carrier capable of carrying this high degree of freedom narrative method. Even in the current most advanced traditional games, when the interaction between humans and the virtual world is greatly compressed, the AI settings are not as smart as they seem. On the other hand, most of the current games are triggered by multi-tree logical, and another reason is that the existing games do not promise more than 90-100 immersion. But VR games are different. The sole purpose of VR games is the immersion. Don't let people be educated. The game is not a good VR game. In order to achieve the sense of immersion, having one's own emotions, unpredictable NPC is an important part. Immersion is the most important reason to promote the development of video games. With the development of technology and the gradual program of video game technology, human beings are increasingly inclined to a completely immersive experience. In a VR environment, immersion can be a feeling of physical presence in a non-physical world. Perception is created by surrounding the user of the VR system with image, sound, or other stimuli, thereby providing a fascinating overall environment. In a VR environment, the user experience is immersive and they can interact with the surrounding environment in a meaningful way.
Virtual reality is now playing an important role in retail industry. The most popular application perhaps are the fully immersive virtual shopping. Let us have a feeling of the Alibaba virtual store. As you can see, the applications enable users to view product information, make comparisons and selections, and making purchase while running around. In virtual shopping, AI helps enhance customers' experience generally by two ways. One way is to recognize their input actions more accurately. For example, in a virtual shopping room, deep learning algorithm and computer vision algorithms come to precisely recognize the whole or part of the human body so that generated clothes can be visually fitted to customers. The other way is to provide extra assistance to enable customers to find desired products. Some virtual stores have tried to use vocal commands such as Alexa voice services from Amazon to recognize customers' voice and synthesis vocal assistance. They have found customers tend to like such interactive shopping experience. Now, a very trendy type of applications use eye tracking technologies in VR device. It aims to capture information related to eye movements while users are in the virtual surroundings. Eye tracking typically works by continuously measuring the distance vector between the pupil center and the reflection of the cornea. The distance is changed by the angle of eyes, and the computer vision algorithms are able to deduce from the angle where the gaze is directed. In VR device, the screen doesn't capture the whole versions but content with the incomplete gaze information. Eye tracking actually has a long history as an inbuilt technology in VR device. The rightmost figure shows how a general VR system with eye tracking works. During the experiments, gaze data were transmitted from the head-mounted device and can be displayed on the laptop screen in real time. The system can then analyze the data and generate corresponding visual stimuli as extra assistance information to users. In retail industry, the eye tracking technology can also help perform retail-related researches, such as investigating the product arrangement strategies, as demonstrated in the video.
Shopping in virtual reality closely reflects real-world behaviors. With a virtual store, it's much easier to quickly alter variables like placement, assortment, or signage to test different configurations and then see how those changes impact purchasing outcomes. And when gathering data for Pop-Tarts Bites, we knew what the traditional methods had already shown, and that is that consumers expect to find new products higher up on a shelf.
So in our first testing scenario, we placed the product on a high shelf and added promotional signage and captured shoppers' eye movements as they looked at virtual shelves. We can see their eyes were drawn to the sign and nearby products. This even helped visibility of other brands placed above the Pop-Tarts Bites.
In addition, the eye tracking can also help analyzing customers' shopping motives, such as classifying goal-directed and exploratory search behaviors. Researchers have tried to make over 20 measurements relating to eye when the users are in the virtual store. They built three different classifiers, namely regression, support vector machines, and a random forest. Every second they got new inputs and compare average performance. From this, they found SVM gives the highest 80% overall accuracy and found that certain important factors that differentiate the motifs. The managerial impacts of it is that classifying the shopper's search behavior can also help managers tailor recommender system to individual customers' shopping motives, and finally increase the profits in the end. So we have introduced the three areas of VR and AI applications. It is expected that in the future, many aspects are still going to be improved. In terms of the retail field, better cloud infrastructure is to be built as more user data will be stored on cloud. Better privacy protection is also critical as virtual retail touches lots of private data such as faces. The virtual gaming AI is expected to be further rely more on unsupervised learning because it saves the effort of labeling data when we have larger scale pertaining model. In surgical training, we hope to have algorithms providing personalized feedback to evaluate individual training outcomes. Okay, that's the end of the presentation. Hope you enjoyed and thanks for watching.